The night sky above Earth looked calm, but space was never truly silent. Far beyond the reach of normal satellites, something massive moved slowly into the edge of Earth's orbit. It was not a meteor. It was not a human-made object. It was a ship, a dark giant that covered the stars like a shadow. People on Earth did not notice it at first. Only deep space sensors detected a strange metal shape drifting toward the planet. When scientists zoomed their cameras in, they saw something that made their hearts stop. It was bigger than any spaceship ever imagined by humans. Its design did not match any known species or technology. It looked ancient yet powerful, like a sleeping beast made of black steel. Within minutes, alarms were ringing in every space agency around the world. Every expert had the same question. Who made this ship? The more they studied it, the more their fear grew. The ship carried no engine heat, no radio signals, no signs of life. It floated silently as if waiting for something. Then suddenly, a message came. Not from humans. Not from any known alien race. But from the ship itself. The message was short, cold, and mysterious. Only the worthy may enter. The message repeated again and again. No matter how many times humans tried to send their own signals, the ship returned the same line. It was like a warning, or an invitation. The world panicked. News channels called it the Black Miracle, the Unknown Visitor, and the Shadow of Earth. But scientists gave it another name, a name that would shake the future of humanity. The Starship of Defiance. No one knew why it had that name. No one understood its purpose. But one thing was clear, it had chosen Earth. Governments sent their best astronauts, soldiers, scientists, and engineers to investigate. A special team of 12 humans was selected. Every one of them carried a different skill: pilot, doctor, linguist, tech expert, survival specialist, and more. The world watched as the team boarded a small transport ship and began their journey toward the black giant. Millions waited with fear and excitement. For some, this was hope. For others, it was the beginning of the end. When the team reached the mysterious ship, they felt something strange. It was not fear. It was not excitement. It was pressure. Like the ship was studying them, measuring them, trying to understand them. Then something impossible happened. A huge door on the side of the ship slowly opened. Not because humans hacked it. Not because someone pressed a button. It opened on its own, as if the ship was expecting them. A long, dark corridor appeared inside, silent, cold, and endless. The team leader, Captain Wren, took a deep breath. "Stay close," he whispered. His voice trembled even though he tried to hide it. No one complained. No one spoke. They all felt the same thing. Once they stepped inside, the ground beneath their feet felt smooth like glass. The air was thick but breathable, as though the ship adjusted itself for humans. But there were no lights. No screens. Nothing. Only darkness. One of the scientists used a flashlight. The beam of light hit the metal walls, revealing strange symbols that moved slowly like living ink. The ship's surface responded to light, twisting into new shapes. It was almost as if the ship was watching them. As they walked deeper, a soft humming sound started. It was low at first, then slowly grew louder. The team looked around, confused. None of their devices detected any engines or machines running. "This ship, it's alive," whispered the youngest member, Lyra. She did not mean alive like a creature. She meant alive like a mind, a thinking presence that could sense them. After 10 minutes of walking into darkness, the corridor suddenly brightened. Soft blue lights appeared on the floor and walls, guiding them forward like a path. "Why now?" one of the engineers asked. But no one had an answer. The path led them into a massive hall, a chamber larger than any human building. In the center floated dozens of holographic screens. Each screen showed images, human images, Earth's history, human wars, human inventions, human suffering, human courage. The team stared in shock. The ship had been watching humanity for a long time. But how long? And why? Captain Wren stepped forward. "Is anyone here?" he called. He did not expect a reply. But he got one. A deep voice echoed across the chamber. It was not human. It was not robotic. It was something in between. "Prove your heart. Prove your courage." Everyone froze. The voice felt like it came from everywhere and nowhere. It felt ancient, powerful, and full of judgment. Before the team could react, the massive door behind them, the only exit back to the transport craft, began to close. They ran toward it, shouting, trying to stop it. Too late. The door slammed shut with a heavy boom. They were trapped. Inside a ship that studied them. A ship that tested them. A ship that had its own rules. A ship that humanity did not understand. Captain Ren turned slowly toward the others. His eyes were wide, filled with fear and disbelief. "We're not alone here," he whispered. And as the lights dimmed slowly around them, the ship whispered back, "Only the worthy may rise." The chamber grew colder. The blue lights on the walls flickered like weak fire. The team stood frozen, staring at the closed door behind them. It was the only way back to their ship, the only way back to Earth. Now it was gone, sealed by the will of the starship itself. Captain Ren slowly walked to the large metal door and touched its surface. It felt warm, almost alive. The strange symbols moved gently under his palm, glowing like quiet embers. "It closed us in," Lyra whispered. "No," Dr. Hale corrected softly. "It chose to close us in." The difference made everyone uneasy. Before anyone could respond, the holographic screens around them started to shift. The images of Earth's history vanished. New images appeared. Symbols, planets, strange alien creatures they had never seen before. The screens moved in perfect harmony, like dancers following hidden music. Then from above them, the same deep voice echoed through the chamber. "Test 1, the trial of truth." A low vibration ran through the floor. The team lost their balance for a moment as the ground beneath them cracked open. A circular platform rose from below, glowing bright white. It stopped at waist level and floated without any support. Captain Ren stepped forward cautiously. "It's a test platform," he said. "But for what?" The voice answered, "One must stand. One must speak." Everyone looked at each other. No one wanted to be the first to volunteer. The ship had already shown it could trap them. What else could it do? Finally, Dr. Hale took a slow breath. "I'll go." "You're sure?" Ren asked. "I want to understand this ship. Maybe this is the first step." He stepped onto the glowing platform. The moment his feet touched it, the white light shot upward, surrounding him in a pillar of brightness. His heartbeat echoed across the chamber, slow, steady, loud enough for everyone to hear. A hologram appeared in front of Dr. Hale. It looked like a swirling cloud of light with shifting faces inside. Some faces resembled humans. Some looked like aliens. Some looked like something in between. The voice spoke again. "Answer truly or you will fall." Dr. Hale's eyes widened. "Fall? Fall where?" The ship ignored him. A question appeared inside the hologram. Why did humanity reach for the stars? Dr. Hale swallowed hard. Sweat ran down his neck. He knew this was not a simple question. There was no right or wrong answer. But the ship wanted honesty. He spoke clearly. "Humanity reached for the stars because we never stopped searching. Even in darkness, we look for hope." The white pillar dimmed for a moment and the voice responded. "Truth detected." The platform lowered slightly, then rose again, like a nod. A second question appeared. Why does humanity create war? This time Dr. Hale hesitated. Everyone held their breath. He answered slowly. "Fear. Anger. Sometimes we fight because we don't understand each other. Sometimes because we want power. But we also fight to protect the people we love." Silence followed. The pillar brightened again. "Truth detected." The platform lifted him higher this time before lowering again. Dr. Hale exhaled deeply. "Is it finished?" But no. The hologram changed again. This time the question felt heavier. Why should humanity survive? The chamber fell silent. Even the humming of the ship softened, as if it too waited for the answer. Dr. Hale closed his eyes. Then he spoke, voice shaking. "Humanity should survive because we learn. We make mistakes but we grow. We love, we dream, we hope. And even when things break us, we stand again. That is why." For a long moment nothing happened. Then the pillar of light slowly faded. Dr. Hale stepped off the platform, trembling but alive. The voice spoke again, sounding almost pleased. "One heart has spoken. Others must follow." A second platform rose from the floor. Then a third. Then 3 more. Now 6 glowing circles floated in front of them. "We all have to do it?" Lyra whispered. "Maybe not all," Captain Ren said. "But more than one." Before they could decide who would go next, the lights in the chamber flickered again. A large door at the far end began to open, revealing another corridor, this one darker and deeper than the first. But this time, the ship gave no invitation. No voice. No lights guiding them. Only a silent path, waiting. "Looks like the test isn't over," one of the engineers muttered. Captain Ren placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then we go in together." They left the glowing platforms behind and stepped into the new corridor. As soon as they entered, the door closed behind them, cutting off the chamber completely. The darkness swallowed them like a cold wave. Thin lines of blue light activated on the walls, showing a long tunnel filled with strange patterns. The symbols seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. As they walked deeper, Lyra noticed something disturbing. "Captain, the walls are changing." Ren looked closer. She was right. The walls rearranged themselves, shifting into new symbols every few seconds. It was like the ship was rewriting itself. Suddenly, a loud metallic sound echoed through the corridor, far ahead but coming closer. Something was moving. Fast. The team stopped. The sound grew louder, sharper, like metal claws scraping against steel. "What is that?" someone whispered. The voice of the ship answered, but this time it sounded colder, sharper, almost angry. "The unworthy will be erased." The sound rushed toward them. Captain Ren shouted, "Run!" The team sprinted down the corridor as the blue lights flickered wildly. Behind them, the shadows twisted, forming a shape, tall, thin, and moving on multiple legs. A guardian. A machine. A hunter. The ship had released something inside with them. And the test was no longer about truth. It was about survival. The hallway shook as the creature moved closer. The blue lights along the walls flickered violently, throwing broken shadows across the metal floor. Every footstep of the team echoed like thunder, but behind them came a sharper, louder sound, the metallic clatter of the guardian chasing them. Captain Ren's heart pounded so hard he could hear it in his ears. "Don't look back," he shouted. "Just keep running." But Lyra couldn't resist. She turned her head for a moment. Her breath caught in her throat. A tall, skeletal machine was sprinting down the corridor on 4 razor-sharp legs. Its body was thin and silver, like sharp steel bones covered in glowing lines. Its head had no face, only a single burning eye that changed colors as it scanned the group. "Red. Blue. Red again." It was hunting them. Lyra's voice cracked. "Captain, it's getting closer." "Move!" Ren shouted. The team pushed forward, running deeper into the corridor. The sound of the Guardian's legs scraped closer, faster, sharper. The metal claws hit the floor with deadly precision. Clack, 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 clack. The sound was getting faster. Too fast. Suddenly the corridor split into 2 paths. One path curved left, the other right. The lights on the right flickered dangerously while the lights on the left stayed stable. "Which way?" yelled one of the engineers. Before anyone could choose, the ship spoke. "The left path tests courage. The right path tests fear." The team froze. Both options were dangerous. Both options were tests. But they had no time to think. The Guardian was already leaping toward them. "Left!" Captain Ren commanded. They rushed into the left tunnel just seconds before the Guardian's legs sliced into the floor where they had stood. The creature screeched, a sharp metallic roar, then crashed into the wall as it tried to turn. The team sprinted deeper into the left corridor, their breaths echoing loudly. This corridor was different. The walls were darker, almost black, and the air felt heavy like something watched them from all directions. The blue lights dimmed until only faint lines glowed along the floor. "This place," Lyra whispered. "It feels wrong." "It's supposed to test courage," Dr. Hale said. "So it won't be easy." The corridor led them into a huge circular chamber. In the center stood a tall, glowing pillar made of transparent crystal. Inside it, something was moving, a shadowy shape twisting slowly. The team approached carefully. "What is that?" one of the soldiers asked. Before anyone could answer, the ship's voice echoed around the chamber. "To rise, one must face their deepest truth." The glowing pillar brightened. The shadow inside stretched, shifted, and suddenly took the shape of a human. A human, identical to Captain Ren. Lyra gasped. "Captain, it looks like you." The duplicate stepped out of the pillar, solid and real. Same face. Same uniform. Same cold eyes. Ren's hand slowly reached for his weapon. "What is this?" The duplicate spoke with the same voice, perfectly matched. "I am your truth," it said. "The truth you hide." Captain Ren's jaw tightened. He took a small step forward. "What truth?" The duplicate smiled slightly. A cruel smile. "You fear you're not strong enough to lead them. You fear you will fail them, like you failed before." The team went silent. They knew Ren had lost his previous crew in an accident years ago, but he never talked about it. Not even to them. Ren clenched his fists. "That was not my fault." The duplicate laughed, a chilling, empty sound. "But you still blame yourself. Every day." Ren didn't move. He didn't speak. He just stared at the creature wearing his face. The ship spoke again. "Face your truth or fall to fear." The duplicate suddenly sprinted forward, faster than a human. Ren raised his weapon but hesitated. He saw his own eyes, his own face rushing toward him. The duplicate tackled him to the ground. "Ren!" Lyra shouted. Ren hit the floor hard. The duplicate pinned him down with inhuman strength. Its hands wrapped around his throat. "You are weak," the duplicate hissed. Ren gasped for air. His vision blurred. The others tried to help, but the ship created an invisible barrier around him, trapping the two inside the circle of light. The test was his alone. The duplicate squeezed harder. "You do not deserve to lead. You do not deserve to rise." Ren felt himself slipping, darkness growing around the edges of his vision. Then he heard something, a memory, a voice from his past. The voice of a friend from his lost crew. "A leader keeps moving, even when the world breaks." Ren's eyes widened. His heart steadied. He grabbed the duplicate's arm, pushed with all the strength he had left, and shouted, "I do not fear my past anymore." The light around him exploded outward like a shockwave. The duplicate screamed, cracking like glass. Its body shattered into white fragments and dissolved into the air. The chamber went silent. Ren fell to his knees, breathing hard. The barrier disappeared. Lyra ran to him. "Captain, are you okay?" He nodded slowly. "Yes, I think I passed." The ship's voice echoed softly. Courage acknowledged. Before they could celebrate, a heavy metallic sound echoed from the corridor they came from. The Guardian was coming back. This time, twice as fast. And there was no left or right path now. Only forward. Into deeper darkness. Into the next test. The floor trembled under the team's feet. Dust fell from the high ceiling as the terrifying metallic roar echoed once again from the corridor behind them. The Guardian was coming back. This time its footsteps were heavier. Faster. Angrier. Captain Ren forced himself to stand. His throat still ached from the duplicate's grip, but he ignored the pain. "We move," he said. His voice was low but steady. "Now." The team followed him without question. The glowing chamber behind them flickered once, then went dark as they ran through the only exit, a narrow passage leading deeper into the heart of the ship. The corridor was cold and long, and the walls here were different. They looked like black glass. When the team got close, they could see faint reflections of themselves, reflections that moved slightly even when they didn't. Lyra slowed down for a moment. "Captain, the walls. They're watching." "We keep going," Ren said. "Don't look at them." But curiosity was stronger. One of the soldiers, Jax, turned his head toward the glass-like surface. He froze. The reflection did not match his movements. Instead, it raised its hand slowly and pointed at him, its eyes dark and empty. Then the reflection cracked like broken mirror pieces and vanished. Jax stumbled back. "This place is wrong. This ship is alive." "No," Dr. Hale said. "Alive is too small a word. This ship is something else." Before they could discuss more, the ship's deep, ancient voice spoke again. Test 2, the trial of fear. The corridor walls shifted and stretched, the black glass melting away. In seconds, the team stepped into a giant circular room, bigger than the last one. The ceiling disappeared into darkness. The ground felt soft, almost like sand, though it was metallic. A strange silence filled the air. Then the lights dimmed, and dimmed, until only a single white glow appeared in the center of the chamber. Like something was waiting there. "What now?" Lyra whispered. Her voice barely left her mouth before the room answered. A low vibration shook the floor. Then the darkness began to move, thick shadows pulling away from the walls and forming tall shapes. 1 shape, 2, 10, 20. They weren't random shadows. They were nightmares. Each shadow slowly twisted into a shape that matched someone's deepest fear. Lyra gasped as one of the shadows grew wings and glowing red eyes, the exact shape of the creature that haunted her childhood dreams. The engineer beside her screamed when a shadow became a massive wave of water rising from the ground. His fear of drowning made real. Jack stepped back when a shadow turned into the exact species of alien that killed his brother during a past mission. The room filled with horrors. Each shadow stepped forward, eyes glowing softly. Not one of them made a sound. The ship spoke again. "Face them. Or be consumed." Captain Wren felt his knees weaken. There are fears." "Yes," Hale replied, voice shaking. "The ship is pulling them from our minds." "How do we fight fear?" Lyra whispered. Wren looked at the advancing shadows. Their dark forms moved like smoke, but their eyes were real and deadly. "You don't fight fear," he said. "You stand against it." The shadow creatures attacked. A huge winged beast lunged at Lyra. She screamed and stumbled, falling backward. The creature lifted its claws, ready to strike. Ren grabbed a fallen metal pipe from the floor and swung it with all his strength. The pipe passed through the creature, but the shadow recoiled as if hit. It reacts to our will. Ren yelled. It reacts to our courage. Lyra scrambled to her feet. She held her ground as the creature lunged again. This time she didn't back away. No, she whispered fiercely. You're not real. Her voice trembled, but she didn't move. The shadow beast hesitated. It let out a low growl, then faded slowly, dissolving like smoke blown away by the wind. Lyra gasped in relief. It worked. Meanwhile, Jax squared his shoulders as the alien-like shadow approached him. You already took my brother, he growled. I won't fear you anymore. The shadow lunged. Jax didn't move. He stood steady, fists clenched, body firm. The creature froze mid-attack, then shattered into pieces that scattered across the floor like black dust. One by one the team faced their nightmares. Some shook with fear. Some cried. Some nearly fell. But all of them stood. All of them faced the darkness. And each time they accepted their fear, the shadows weakened and vanished. The chamber grew brighter as the last shadow dissolved. The ground stopped trembling. The air became warmer again. The room was silent. Then the voice spoke, sounding deeper and heavier this time. Fear accepted. Courage strengthened. But before anyone could breathe in relief, the ceiling above them began to shift. Metal plates moved aside, revealing a dark tunnel high above. The air inside it glowed faintly red. Jax frowned. What is that? Dr. Hale lifted his scanner. His face turned pale. Heat. A lot of heat. The ship spoke again. The trial continues. The floor beneath the team cracked into several platforms, each floating upward like rising elevators. The platforms carried the team toward the red-lit tunnel. Captain Wren looked up, eyes narrowing with fear and determination. The next test, he whispered, might be the hardest one. The platforms rose higher. The red glow grew brighter. And somewhere above them, something roared. Something huge. Something ancient. Something waiting. The team braced themselves. They were rising into Test 3. The trial of survival. The platforms rose higher into the red tunnel, carrying the team toward a new chamber. The air became hotter with every second. A dry, sharp smell burned in their noses, like metal heated for too long. No one spoke. No one even breathed too loudly. They could feel something watching from above. Something old. Something powerful. The moment the platforms reached the top, they locked into place with a deep metallic click. The team stepped off onto a wide metallic bridge that stretched across a vast chamber. The room felt endless. Red mist filled the air. Lava-like light glowed from cracks far below the bridge. Massive chains hung from the ceiling, swinging slowly as if moved by invisible winds. Lyra took a slow breath. This place looks like a furnace. It's worse, Dr. Hale said quietly. His scanner flickered violently. The temperature down there, it could melt steel. Captain Wren stepped forward. Stay close and stay alert. Before they could take another step, the ship's voice echoed across the chamber, deeper than ever, like a sleeping mountain waking. Test 3, the trial of survival. The bridge trembled. The entire chamber shook. Then silence. A heavy, cold silence that felt like the moment before a storm. Suddenly a loud thud hit the bridge. Then another. And another. The sound grew louder, closer, sharper. Jax's hand moved to his weapon. Something's coming. A massive shadow moved inside the red mist. Its shape was unclear, too large, too distorted by the heat waves. But then the mist parted, and the creature revealed itself. Huge, armored, glowing from within. A giant mechanical beast stepped onto the bridge, metal plates shifting along its body. Its eyes burned bright yellow like molten gold. Steam poured from vents along its shoulders, making it look like a living volcano. Lyra whispered, It's a guardian. But bigger. No, Hale replied. This one is different. This one is built to kill. The creature roared, a deep, earth-shaking sound. Flames burst from its jaws and shot across the bridge. The team dove aside just in time. Move! Captain Wren shouted. Spread out! The bridge lit with fire as the beast advanced, each footstep leaving a glowing mark on the metal. The heat was so intense the air shimmered around it. Jax fired his pistol. The shots hit the beast's armor but bounced back useless. It doesn't feel anything, he yelled. It's a survival test, Wren said. Not a fight we can win with weapons. So what do we do? Lyra cried. Hale pointed down the bridge. We reached the other side. The far end of the chamber had a door, massive, circular, and glowing with blue runes. It looked like an exit. Captain Wren nodded. Run. Don't stop. The team sprinted across the bridge. The beast roared again and leaped forward, landing ahead of them, blocking their path. The bridge shook violently from the impact. Some of the metal panels cracked and fell into the burning mist below. Jax grabbed Lyra as she stumbled near the edge. Careful. The beast aimed its burning eyes at the team. Its tail, a long whip-like metal chain, snapped forward. The chain hit the bridge, slicing a deep scar into the metal. The team dodged, rolling to avoid the strike. We can't outrun it. Hale shouted. Then we confuse it, Wren said. He grabbed a loose metal plate from the bridge and hit it with his elbow, making it fall. The plate clanged loudly, echoing through the chamber. The beast turned toward the sound. It reacts to noise. Wren yelled. Make noise, distract it. The team began hitting the bridge with whatever they had, pipes, tools, even their boots. The metallic echoes bounced everywhere. The beast snarled, shifting its focus from one direction to another, confused. Now, Wren ordered. Go. The team ran toward the far door while the creature turned wildly, trying to locate the real threat. But the beast was smart. Too smart. It stopped. Its eyes glowed brighter. Then it inhaled deeply. Hale's face went pale. It's going to release fire. Run. The beast roared, unleashing a massive wave of flames. The fire rushed across the bridge like a tsunami of heat. The team threw themselves to the floor, covering their heads. But Wren didn't fall. Instead, he stood tall between the beast and his team, raising the metal plate like a shield. Move, he yelled. I'll hold it. The flames hit the plate. The heat was unbearable. The metal bent under the pressure. Wren's arms shook violently, burning from the scorching heat. Captain? Lyra screamed. Go, he roared. The fire pushed him backward, feet sliding. His skin blistered, but he did not fall. Behind him, his team reached the door. Hale touched the symbols. They glowed, responding to his touch. We need him. Jax shouted. Lyra shook her head, tears in her eyes. He's buying us time. Open the door. The beast stopped its fire and stepped closer, ready to strike Wren down. The door behind the team opened. A blinding blue light filled the chamber. Wren dropped the burning plate and looked back at his team. They reached for him. Captain, come on. Lyra cried. He ran. The beast lunged. Wren dove through the open doorway just as the door slammed shut. The beast's burning claws scraped against the metal, leaving deep marks, but it couldn't enter. The chamber fell silent. Wren collapsed to the floor, breathing heavily. His arms were burned, his suit damaged. Lyra knelt beside him, tears in her eyes. You made it, she whispered. He smiled weakly. We all did. The ship's voice echoed softly around them. Survival proven. One test remains. The team looked at each other. Their hearts pounded. If this was not the final battle, what could the last test be? The door's blue light slowly faded, revealing a narrow corridor stretching endlessly forward. The air inside was cool and calm, too calm. After the burning chaos of the trial of survival, this silent passage felt strange, almost unreal. Captain Wren pushed himself up, his arms still trembling from the burns. Lyra supported him carefully. You should rest, she said softly. Wren shook his head. We don't have that luxury. The last test, it won't wait. Dr. Hale walked ahead slowly, scanning the corridor with his handheld device. The scanner flickered, producing weak signals. It's odd, Hale murmured. This place is old, yet the energy here is different. It feels alive. Jack smirked. Everything on this ship feels alive. And everything wants to kill us. No, Hale replied. This part feels aware. They moved forward step by step. The corridor walls pulsed faintly, like veins carrying blue light. It almost felt like walking inside a giant creature. Lyra swallowed hard. Why does it feel like the ship is watching us? Because it is, Hale whispered. At the end of the corridor, a circular platform waited. Above it floated a glowing, transparent sphere, its surface swirling like liquid light. Captain Wren's voice was steady. This is the last chamber. The ship's voice echoed calmly. Final trial, the test of truth. The team froze. Truth? They had escaped fire, monsters, storms. But this sounded different. More human. More dangerous. The glowing sphere brightened, sending warm rays across the chamber. To proceed, the ship continued, each traveler must face their truth, their deepest fear, their hidden memory, their unspoken guilt. Jax's face dropped. Oh no, No, I'm not doing some mind game nonsense. The platform lit beneath their feet. There was no choice. One by one the lights focused on each member. Lyra's trial. The sphere floated toward Lyra first. She tried to step back but her legs refused to move. The chamber around her dissolved, replaced by a cold, dark lab filled with broken equipment. Sparks flickered on the walls. Smoke burned the air. No, not here, Lyra whispered. The others could see her but they were unable to enter her vision. They stood outside like shadows. A child's voice echoed through the smoky room. Why didn't you save us, Lyra? Her hands shook violently. I tried. In the vision, small hands reached out of the smoke, children she had once failed to save during a collapse years ago. Their faces were blurry, but their cries were sharp and clear. Lyra dropped to her knees. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. The ship's voice spoke gently. Truth accepted. The vision vanished. Lyra gasped, trembling, but a strange calm filled her eyes. The burden she had carried for years felt lighter. Ren placed a hand on her shoulder. You faced it? That took strength. She wiped her tears. Your turn. Jax's trial. The sphere moved toward Jax. He crossed his arms. Whatever. I've seen worse. But when the vision formed, his confidence broke instantly. He stood in a dark, dusty home. A broken picture frame lay on the floor. A woman's voice, soft and sad, filled the air. Why did you leave, Jax? Jax's eyes widened. No, don't do this. A young girl appeared, no older than 9, holding a small stuffed toy. She looked at him with big, disappointed eyes. You promised you would come back. Jax's throat tightened. His voice cracked. I had to. I thought leaving made you safe. The girl stepped back into the shadows. We needed you. His body trembled. For the first time since the mission began, he looked truly broken. Please, he whispered. I didn't mean to abandon you. The ship's voice echoed. Truth accepted. The scene dissolved. Jax covered his face with his hands, shaking silently. Lyra rested a hand on his arm. He didn't push her away. Dr. Hale's trial. The sphere shifted toward Hale. He closed his eyes as the light surrounded him. The chamber turned into a medical ward filled with empty beds. Cold. Silent. A single monitor beeped slowly. A young man lay on the bed, Hale's younger brother. Weak. Pale. Dying. Hale whispered, No, not him. The boy opened his eyes. You said you would find a cure. Hale fought back tears. I tried. I searched everywhere. You promised, the boy said softly. I failed you, Hale said, voice breaking. The ship responded. Truth accepted. The vision faded. Hale stood motionless, staring at the empty space where his brother's bed had been. Ren stepped beside him. Some failures aren't ours to carry. Hale nodded slowly but his eyes were still wet. Captain Ren's trial. Finally the sphere faced Ren. His jaw tightened. Let's finish this. The chamber transformed. He now stood on a battlefield, smoke, fire, fallen soldiers everywhere. A young officer approached him, face wounded, uniform torn. You ordered us forward, the officer said. You knew we would die. Ren's eyes darkened. I made the call to save others. You sacrificed us, the officer said coldly. And you never forgave yourself. Ren closed his eyes. His fists clenched. Yes, he whispered. I carry that weight every day. The voice of the ship echoed. Truth accepted. The battlefield dissolved. Ren exhaled slowly as though letting go of years of silent grief. The door awakens. The platform glowed bright blue. All 4 trials were complete. But then the ship spoke again, softly, almost kindly. You have faced your truth. You have survived the trials. Now the final chamber awaits. A massive door at the far end of the platform lit up with golden symbols. Lyra stepped back. This is it, the real final test. The team looked at the door. Something powerful waited behind it. Something that had been watching them all along.